So this is 5 Minutes with John Bartle, one of the founders of BBH, and these days a big portfolio as non-exec director. Hi John.
Hi.
Can you give us a quick summary of your career to date?
Yeah, my career has been lengthy, unfortunately. That means I'm older than I'd like to be. I've only worked in 3 places in full-time jobs. I started off as a graduate trainee at Cadbury's before it became Cadbury Schweppes. I was there when it became Cadbury Schweppes.
What was your role there?
I came as a marketing graduate trainee, and when I left I was I was the manager of the marketing services department, which is market research, sales forecasting, etc, etc, etc. I was there for about 8 or 9 years.
Okay. Got
headhunted to move from the Midlands down to London to be one of the founding partners of the London office of TBWA. I stayed there for 8.5 years, and then my 3rd proper job was the founding of BBH. Nigel Bartle and John Hegarty had also been founding partners of TBWA's London office, along with 3 other people. 6 of us altogether, and then the 3 of us went off on our own in 1982, and I stayed there until the last day of the millennium, last day of 1999, and since when I've had put together a portfolio of 3 or 4 different things. It's moved over time, and I've been living the portfolio existence for the last nearly 12 years now.
So you're semi-retired now?
Yeah, I work half a week.
Cool. How would you describe the creative industry in 3 words?
Important, unconfident, struggling.
And what advice would you give to people looking to get into the industry today?
Do anything to get in. Prepare well, have points of view, and get to know a lot about the industry. And almost take anything that gets you in. It's an industry where it's a lot easier once you're in to move around and find a place where you can settle. It's becoming increasingly difficult to get in the first place because of the pressure that the industry is under.
What key factors do you think led to you being promoted to the level that you were at through your career?
I worked hard, and that is important. I think I've always been a very clear thinker, and with an ability, I'd like to think, to not just think clearly, but to think laterally as well. But I think probably the most important thing was that I was, as they say, good with people. So I think I found it very easy to work with other people, and then to lead people and to manage people. And it's always been the people side, including when I was at Cadbury's. It's the people side of business that I am most interested in. I'm not interested in I was never interested in some sort of ivory tower-like existence where you had an office, closed the door, and never spoke to anybody. And so I think it's been the people's skills. I think I've also been canny and wise about who I've worked with. So I think one of the reasons why I had the success I had at BBH was John and Nigel. We'd gone through our test market. We never worked together, funnily enough, before we started TBWA together in London, as I say, with 3 other people. But during that 8 or 9 years that we were there, we sort of came together, formed a bond, realised we could work together very well. So I've been lucky, and I wouldn't dismiss being lucky.
For you, what would you say the best thing is about agency life?
The people you meet there, and the variety of people that you meet there, we come from anywhere, and we have all sorts of different ages. So much so that I think as I got older, I think agency life kept me young. But also I think the tremendous variety of challenge. You know, I think in any one week you might be thinking about working on, what, I don't know, 5, 6 different issues, different problems, problems largely for your clients, but maybe within your own company. That variety is very difficult to get anywhere else. I mean, even if you're a management consultant, you know, you get sort of assigned to projects for months and months and weeks. But any week in advertising can be so nearly every week in advertising is very, very varied. And I wouldn't swap that. I think that keeps you alert, alive. So the variety of the challenge plus the nature of the people, I think makes it such an enjoyable, vibrant place, and I think it just keeps you on your toes as you get older, keeps you younger.
Who or what inspires you?
I think things done well inspire me. It's very easy to and sometimes the better it is, it doesn't mean it costs more. So I think things done well. I sort of get inspired by outstanding performers, whether it's people who write books or people in the arts, great films, or good acting, whatever. I think my grandchildren inspire me, because I think they're looking at everything fresh, and I think getting cynical and sceptical is the thing you've probably most got to avoid in an industry like this, and you've got to keep enthusiastic and fresh about it. And when I look at, I've got 5 grandchildren, when I look at them, they keep me on my toes, they keep me fresh, they amuse me. So lots of things inspire me. No specific individual has ever inspired me. Although early on at Cadbury's I had a boss who was wise and helped me think about how I would be when I was in his position. So I think I learned from him.
What are your interests outside of work?
Well, obviously, from that previous answer, my family is an enormous interest in me. My 2 biggest interests by far are sport of almost all kinds, except those that involve horses, which I'm not very enamoured of. But lots and lots of sport, and I like watching sport. I've been to the last 5 Olympics as a spectator. I've been to lots of major golf things. It's something I love, and I go to Leeds United whenever I can because that's where I'm from, and that has been it could be described as a passion. I often thought it was an illness. So that's one of my 2 main interests. My other great interest is reading and books, of quite an eclectic mix of books, but I read avidly, and I read many books in a year. And one of the great pleasures of being semi-retired by choice, and therefore not feeling guilty about having free time, is that you can read the paper every day when you're not working, cover to cover if you want to, and you can just spend time reading books, and that's what I do a lot of.
Who's the most creative person you've ever worked with?
The most creative person I've ever worked with, it would be easy just to think about people who work in creative departments.
Yeah.
And then it would be remiss if I didn't say John Hegarty. But I've had the privilege of working with, 20, 30 outstanding creative people over the years.
Around the world?
Yeah, no, more in the UK than around the world. But it's easy just to think about creativity in terms of creative departments, and obviously what one has always tried to instill in an organisation, I have, and the people who work there, is that creativity is in every part of the organisation. So some of the media things that were done in the BBH days that I was there by what was initially the Motive company that then became Starcom Motive, that was run by Mark Cranmer with people like Kevin Brown there. I mean, really imaginative, brilliant media planning and media thinking, and that's as creative as an ad.
Yep.
In many ways. So I've been very fortunate. I work with a lot of very good creative people in all parts of the business.
What's the best brand you've ever had the pleasure of working on?
That's relatively easy. The Phileas Fogg brand for Derwent Valley Foods.
And why does that one stand out?
Well, in the midst of the good fortune that we had with the Levi's and the Audis of the Boddingtons of this world, Derwent Valley Food came to us at BBH when we were a young agency. The three of us, four of them had started this, at first sight, quite bizarre snack company in Consett, County Durham, using money, their own money, but also money that they got as the steelworks closed down in that deprived area of the country, and they started this snack company. And they had a very small budget, but in effect the budget was the biggest budget we ever had to work on, because it was all they could afford. And they were prepared to just go for it and do things differently, and to be involved from very early on and to see that grow was one of the great pleasures. Unfortunately, it eventually got bought by United Biscuits and has faded away, which is a tragedy, I think. But that was the brand I think I'm proudest of having worked on, because I felt we made a real contribution and helped grow a business, not just a brand.
What's the biggest risk you've ever taken in your career?
Moving from Cadbury's to TBWA, the risk was it was a risk in a number of ways. It was obviously a move from being in. It was a physical move, obviously, from Birmingham to London. Lots of people do things like that. It was a move from somewhere where I think I was doing very well, and therefore there was a security there. Going from a company with 10,000 people to one that was starting with 6. I also, coincidentally, happened to have the wife who was just about to give birth to our second daughter at the same time. And it all came together, and the big risk was that I either wouldn't be as good as I'd like to be in the new job, working in an advertising agency, although I knew a lot about agencies because I'd worked with a lot when I was at Cadbury's. So the risk was that I wouldn't be as good as I wanted to be, or that the agency didn't work. So in other words, it didn't work out at all. And then, but the more I thought about it, the more I thought, well, actually, how much of a risk is it? It's much more of a learning experience. 27, 28. So, you know, why not give it a go? If it didn't work, I'd find a job. Whether today one would be quite so cavalier with the job market. So, you know, obviously it was a risk. In retrospect, it was a risk more than well worth taking. And certainly, at that kind of age, I mean, that's what you should be doing. And that is, I think a career is a voyage of discovery. And I think the day you stop learning, your career ends. Whether you actually stop working is another matter. And I wouldn't be doing these non-exec things that I'm now doing and have been doing for the last 12 years if I didn't think I was learning something, if I thought it was a one-way thing and I was simply using what I'd learned through my career and sharing my experience, that would not be enough for me. I want to learn some stuff as well, all the time. And particularly in the kind of world we live in now. I mean, we've never been in a situation, this industry or anybody actually, where things are changing quite so fast. I mean, it's just staggering.
Okay, what's your favourite advertising campaign of all time?
Well, it's easy because it has to be Levi's because of its longevity and the number of brilliant pieces of advertising that were done. I'd add to it, for reasons that previous answer, the Phineas Fogg campaign, because of the job it did. And of course the work that we did at TBWA for Lego, which ended up with a great award-winning commercial with the Tommy Cooper-like voiceover. I mean, that was a great ad, and a great ad to be associated with. Those were ours. I think I always thought the John Smith campaign that BNP did, I think, again for longevity and consistency, the work that Albert Mead had done for The Economist has been stunning. So outside the work that I've been involved in, I think those would be the two you'd like to think you were associated with.
Okay, let's move on to a quick fire round.
Yeah.
Can line or D&AD pencil?
Quick fire. Well, nowadays, it's all changed. Nowadays, it's obviously can line.
Digital design or graphic design?
Graphic design.
Creatives or suits?
Creative suits and creatives who are good with clients.
Apple or Android?
Android.
Degree or no degree?
Immaterial.
Retained work or pitch work?
Both.
Web or mobile?
Web.
Independent agencies or networked agencies?
Independent.
Watford or Bucks?
Bucks.
Outsourced production or on-site production?
Outsourced.
And lastly, Don Draper or Roger Sterling?
Don Draper.
Cool, thank you very much.
I had to say Bucks because they gave me an honorary degree, which was very nice. So,